Welcome everybody to Monsters and Madness, a Dungeons & Dragons podcast featuring some of the members and friends of the Hawk Cleaver Community. If you're enjoying the podcast, then please don't forget to head on over to hawkandcleaver.com, where you can find an amazing community of creators and content, including novels, short stories, comics, podcasts, and merchandise. So, without further ado, let's dive into this week's episode. So, recapping our last adventure, you guys are making your way to the town of Rustleton. As you've heard, it is like a young adventurer's mecca, a perfect place for young budding and inspiring heroes to kind of cut their teeth and just generally get the gist of things, being so close to some of the major cities, along the shoreline for easy kind of shipping, if you want to like order in some special equipment. And it's just become, as you've heard, like through whispers and rumors, it's just the perfect place to start. You guys all met along the tradeway, the road that connects it all up together, and just out of sheer kind of curiosity and just unlikeliness, you guys have kind of budded together and now have made yourself a little group. On your way over to Rustleton, you encountered a dryad that was sick because the tree that her soul was bound to was being attacked by some horrible spider-like creatures known as ettercaps. But with your bravery and your cunning and your strength, you managed to defeat the evil monsters that were trying to poison her forest, and she was very grateful. You guys rested up, and we awake fresh and new. Everyone full rested, everyone's back up to full health if they are not already. If anyone's burnt any spells and used any spells, their spell slots are now fully back up, and you guys awake. I think you guys made camp pretty much at the base of her giant oak tree, did you not?
I believe so.
Yeah.
All right.
It was beautiful.
Yeah. As you awake, it's like the whole thing shifted. Like all the cobwebs have gone. There are new blooms and buds that are just starting to flower. There's a nice kind of warmth in the area as kind of beams of light just cascade and break through the leaves of the trees, making nice little kind of jets and dots of light scattering about the place.
You love to see it, don't you guys? You love to see it.
Yeah, this is why we do these things.
Yeah. We can start chopping that aspiring part out of the heroes thing in our CV pretty soon. Couple more adventures like this.
I thought you were going to say we're going to start chopping down the tree, her tree. we do need firewood.
It was all a ruse. You guys awake. The small embers of the campfire you made are just starting to dwindle out, and just a small little single kind of stream of smoke just wisping up into the air. What would you guys like to do?
I'd like to stretch and ask if anybody has any particular food for breakfast.
Well, I've just realised I've left my bag somewhere, so give me a couple of minutes while I go get it.
We'll pretend this is in the game.
Yeah, this is all in game. You guys, in your backpacks of your gear and other things you do have water skins, some rations. You could be so bold as to forage if you felt like it. But it's completely...
Is the ettercap body still there as well?
No, it seems like everything has either been cleared away or is not there anymore.
She's a good egg, isn't she?
She runs a tight ship when she's feeling well.
I take a stroll around the nearby areas of trees and see if I can find any local wildlife that I can try and eat.
Oh yeah, sure. All right, let's roll a survival or a nature for me. If you're kind of foraging, trying to find some little games or something.
I got a 11, 12.
12. Yeah, you do spot, just poking out from underneath some shrubberies and stuff, there is what appears to be like the little kind of telltale twitching nose of a wild hare.
I'm back.
I want to sneak up on it.
Okay, yeah, go. Roll for a stealth then, if you're kind of just...
Carl, we're hunting here now. What's happening?
Just remind me, if it's stealth, do I add the +2 that's in my dexterity or the 3 next to stealth?
It'll be the 3 stealth.
So that's an unnatural 20.
Unnatural. Oh, yeah, you are looming over it as if you could just grab it by the ears. It is not aware.
I grab it by the ears and bring it back alive.
Sure, yeah. It's kind of kicking and obviously trying to buck and stuff and get away from you, but no, you've just snatched it up.
Does anybody fancy some breakfast? I brought it whole and ready and raw.
Raw, you say?
Yeah. I'll have one of the ears.
Okay. If you want it, you chop it.
Oh, I've got axes, so that's fine. Hand it over.
I kick back and dig into my rations.
Yeah. I'll check my magic bag, see what I've got in there.
I use my 2 hand axes to expertly cut up this hair, and I take the ears for myself. Actually, I'll just take the whole head since I cut it up.
Okay,
I think that's fair.
Just roll a straight up dexterity for me. So on your dexterity, there should be a little plus or minus.
Yeah. Is that 20? A d20?
Yeah, d20, and then add that.
It's 10.
10. Yeah, you make a bit of a mess of it. I mean, this is your first time cutting. It's probably not your first time cutting up wild rabbits.
I'm still groggy from waking up.
Yeah. There have been much cleaner, neater cuts when preparing wild animals and stuff, but I mean, you did it with those big chunky hand axes. You definitely cut it up. But
yeah, don't complain, guys. Don't complain. It's your breakfast. Just eat up and shut up, right?
I caught you a goddamn rabbit, and you've just destroyed it. I trusted you.
Yeah.
I thought the dwarf, with his heavy-handedness and his battle axe, might be able to cut a delicate rabbit without smushing it to pieces.
Look, I'll keep this rabbit for myself.
You will not. I have acid breath recharged, and I'm not afraid to use it.
All right.
Without speaking, I lean forward and just offer some of the rations that are in my hand.
All right, and with that, you guys cook up a fine wild hare breakfast.
Okay.
I think now that we're well fed from that lovely rabbit, we should be on our way. Really,
We should.
I've forgotten where we're going.
We're going to Rustleton
Let's go to
to go and find this woman's crochet.
Do we have to escape this forest? Because if I remember, it was quite a mission getting in here. It was a dense forest.
We are friends of the forest these days, though. The very birds sing of our heroism, so pretty sure it'll see us right.
I think we start walking in the direction of Rustleton, wherever that is.
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit tricky at first because going into the forest, you were obviously guided by the blooming flowers. But you retrace your steps, things seem familiar, especially getting back out into kind of the main strip and the kind of wider, sparse areas of the forest. Because this part here, the kind of epicenter, is very dense and thick. So you kind of start making your way out. The clearings start to widen, the trees get less dense, and eventually you do find the road, and you can see along the way, slightly, say a couple miles up, you can see the outskirts of the city of Rustleton.
I've heard many legends of Rustleton and its famous walls and people, and its incredible array of knitted wear.
Okay, you guys start to make your way over to Rustleton then. You go on Auraprax as a bard and kind of a well-versed in lore and legends and stuff. Roll an intelligence for me.
18.
18, yes. You spend the rest of the journey kind of recalling everything you know about Rustleton, all the things you've heard. That is, as they say, it is the perfect place for us young people to kind of get acquainted. Are you going to do it like you're...
Yeah.
doing the whole thing and mimicking like I'm saying it. Excellent. It's everything you've heard it to be. It is a perfect place for us to kind of get started and get into the kind of business of being heroes. There's a blacksmith, there's a local chapel of Timora where we could heal ourselves if there was ever a situation. Much like many of the kind of cities and towns in this area, there is a notice board where people post their help wanted and adventurers wanted on this kind of board, which is in the kind of city centre, as it were. A nice open clearing where there's a well and there's a nice chunky notice board where everyone puts their kind of help wanted. There is also, as you very high roll, you know there's a couple of good places to go to eat. There's some couple of good shops. You know that the local inn/tavern, the Winged Horse, is an excellent place for us to kind of stay the night and just obviously have a drink and be merry.
Let's go shopping.
Yeah. Yeah, we've only done like a couple of episodes, but we're already on the shopping episode. Already there. During this kind of last couple miles of travel, you guys listen to Uraprax and his kind of tales of how awesome Rustleton is. However, when you get there, he's either lying or something's very amiss here. What you expected to see, a bustling city full of like adventurers and everyone traveling in groups of 3, kind of like the healer, the tank, and the wizard kind of thing. It's pretty empty, pretty dead. It's underwhelmingly quiet and still. As you kind of enter the city, you notice there's just a single woman just carrying one loaf of bread, kind of head down, not really doing anything, not really trying to interact with anyone, just going back home. And walking into the middle of the town, there's a nice open area, a well in the center. You could imagine, or you could probably guess, that this is where they have markets, where people would come and bring their wares and raise their own kind of stands and stuff. But it's empty. Just a big open area with like a single well in the middle. To the left, the tavern that you heard about, the Winged Horse. You see a nice kind of very simple and basic chapel, but there is a chapel to the goddess of light and sunshine, Timora. And lo and behold, there is the kind of notice bulletin board where people put their help wanted and heroes wanted. But in front of the notice board is several goblins, these about 3 foot tall, long pointy ears, kind of greenish brown skin, fanged teeth, some of them bald, some of them scarred and gashed, hunched over, just kind of in front of the notice board. And then flanking the notice board either side as well is something you've never really seen before. They're kind of look like the goblins, but taller, broader, like jacked up, like they've been juicing, like the Urukai of goblins, as it were. Although the goblins difficult in a pinch when there's a lot of them, but small and weak and quite timid. These ones next to it seem much bigger, chunkier, like they could take you on in a fight. And they seem to be almost like guarding the notice board.
How far away is the woman from the notice board?
She is probably about, not too far, 40 feet. I mean, this is a large area. And to the kind of left of the notice board, obviously a nice big open space, a well in the centre. To the left-hand side of it, the tavern. To the right, the chapel. And then it seems like beyond there seems to go into a couple of maybe narrow pathways and walkways, which then kind of split off and diverge into a kind of residential area. Kind of a bit like that. So you've got the chapels here, and there's the little tavern, you've got the well, and you've got the notice board up there, kind of thing.
Gotcha.
So are we near the well, sort of approaching the notice board?
So you're kind of entering, you're kind of on the opposite side of this notice board with the chapel and tavern either side of it.
Okay, so I'd like to just sort of, if I'm near the well, I'd like to just sort of glance over in the well see if it's been used recently, see if there's any water left in it, or whether it just looks pretty barren?
No, you go up to the you go up to the well, and it is a standard well. It's not like it's run down and not being used anymore. It's still fresh, clean water. The whole time you're doing this, these goblins and these big, bulky goblins, which are hobgoblins, they are just clocking you, and they are staring at you guys. Not moving, but they have clocked that you're here, and they are just watching every movement you do.
Can I cast my unseen servant?
Yes, you could cast your unseen servant.
I can cast a servant that is unseen and has to obey me, but it can't attack or touch anyone else, if I'm correct?
It can interact with things like pick this up, do over this, carry this for me.
Can it talk?
No, it cannot. It is almost like a spectral ghost that can do your bidding. Fold your clothes, X, Y, Z.
That's of no use then.
You know what? Talking. Let me double check that. That's actually quite a good idea. Unseen servant.
Can you do an artist rendition?
No, it doesn't seem like it can talk.
Okay, I'll cast him and just have him there then.
Yeah, sure.
He might come in handy.
Send him for help if anyone happens to fall down a well.
I've got an idea then. If we're sort of quite far away from these creatures, I'd like to use a message cantrip.
Yeah, sure.
Which whispers a message to sort of a target further away, and I can hear their response. I just want to sort of secretly message, perhaps the more fierce one of these creatures, or perhaps the leader, if we think we can see one of those. Just whisper in its ear that we mean them no harm, but we've come to Rustleton to see what's happening. We're not from here, and just let them know that we're not looking to cause a problem here.
All right. Yeah. So you raise a hand and you kind of trace arcane signals just subtly with your fingertips, and you kind of whisper this, and you've done it 1,000 times back in the old academy where you used to secretly cast and talk to each other during lessons. So the scholars and wizards that were teaching you the spells didn't overhear. And as soon as you cast it and it goes over to the hobgoblins, it immediately is on the defense. It draws a bow, an arrow, pulls it back as far as it can. It's scanning the area, kind of thing. The message spell, you do get a reply if the castee or the person you're casting it to is aware that they can reply, but you just get some weird guttural growls and honks in this weird goblin-like language that you're not really sure what it is, but it sounds angry. All the other little 3 goblins spot the big hobgoblin has kind of taken defensive position, and all 3 of them also kind of get ready. They pull out little daggers. The second hobgoblin that's on the opposite side, that is kind of guarding the notice board, also pulls out a sword and has a bow on his back as well. And they just all straight up on the defense, kind of looking around. They're looking at you guys, but you guys haven't done anything. And there's a weird kind of voice coming from one of their heads, so they don't think it's you, but they are still locked on eyes with you.
Can we also suddenly look around as if we are panicked, as if we've heard the same message?
Good idea.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, roll a deception for me.
Is that all of us, or just?
Yeah, everybody can do it.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, we'll start with Scamos because it was his idea.
I rolled a 12, plus whatever my bonus is, which is so deception. I'm gonna get +4 deception.
Okay, so 16 in total.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. Let's go to Uraprax with your deception.
19.
19. Excellent. Finn.
So 13 with a +3, so 16 total.
Nice.
Excellent. And Uran.
I feel I might be letting everyone down here with an 8.
Do you look like you haven't noticed?
So with 3 out of 4 of you being very high rolls and stuff, it's almost exactly like that weird thing that people do online where they put the bucket on someone else's head and then on their head, and everyone's like confused kind of thing. They get the impression that you've heard this weird voice too.
So then maybe we can turn to them and say, Did you guys just hear something funny? What's going on here?
While this is happening, can we see do they have weapons visible?
Yes, as soon as they heard a strange voice in their head, they all drew weapons.
I would like to. I'd like to command my unseen servant, who I'm naming Ian Visible, to go over. I'm going to command him to try and grab one of the weapons off of the big orcs for me, because he can interact with objects.
Yes, he can.
So I'd like him to grab that and bring it back to me as quickly as he can.
Right, bye, Ian.
Just have a look. Yeah. Oh, blimey. He's only got a strength of 2, which I believe would be a -6 to the roll, possibly. So roll a d20 and -6 to see if he is strong enough to take this weapon out of the hobgoblin's hands.
11.
Minus the 6.
17 minus 6.
Oh, okay, 17. Yeah, 11. Okay, 2 seconds.
Come on, Ian.
So you almost like a film, you kind of see strange footprints just ever so subtly making their way over towards the notice board of these goblins. He tries to pull the sword. Oh no, this goblin has got a tight grip. He rolled a 17 straight off the bat plus his strength. This hobgoblin holds on tight to this sword.
Ian,
you can't technically see him, but you can imagine that Ian just turns and just lifts his shoulders like a... Well, I don't get it.
It's worth a shot.
At that point, the tavern door, the winged horse tavern door, swings open, and you see a 2 seconds. You see a human. He's probably same age as some of you guys. You peg him not to be young, but he's not set in his ways. He is completely bald though. He has no hair, he has no beard, no mustache, and it's a little bit hard to see from this distance, but it doesn't seem to have any eyebrows either. He pops his head out of this tavern door, and he just kind of beckons you guys, like, get in here, kind of thing. He's like, get in, kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm always keen to nip into the pub, and it's the Winged Horse, right? So I've heard it highly recommended on our journey over, so snip on in.
Is this guy handing out flyers, or does he... Yeah, let's go.
Winged Horse tonight, lads, as we walk past.
Yeah. 2 for 1 drinks.
I'd like Ian to set guard outside the tavern as we go in.
Yeah, sure thing. The little footprints in the kind of dirt and gravel follow you over, but then stay outside of the Winged Horse. And you guys enter. You see a large kind of rectangular-like tavern. You could imagine it's probably one of the cozier ones that you've seen in your lifetimes. Some of the tables and chairs are a little bit mixed-match and not all the same set. Some of them were probably bought off someone else. Some of them made from someone nearby. But they kind of all blend together. They're all wood and they're all kind of basic, but they're all mixed-match from different places and walks of life. A nice large hearth at the back of the wall with just a nice crackling fire in it. A long L-shaped bar with a gentleman behind it who's currently cleaning some glasses and just sorting stuff out. He seems to be in charge of the situation. Among the several tables and chairs that are about the place, and some nice fluffy kind of poofy winged chairs, like the big armchairs with the big backs, 2 of them facing the hearth and the fire. You see there is obviously the man who's behind the bar, and you see there are 2 tables that are full of people. You see one of the tables has a large, for lack of a better word, a robot made of like mainly wood with bits of metal in. You could imagine a wooden steampunky like Iron Man. It's quite big, it's tall, very broad shoulders, completely circular eyes, almost like a skull-like face where it's just eyes and like a slit where obviously a mouth would be. It's just sitting there at the table. It's not eating, it's not drinking, it's just kind of sitting there with its kind of hands on its thighs, kind of just looking about and kind of scanning the area. Next to this big kind of chunky ancient Iron Man is a tabaxi, is a cat-like creature. Bipedal, stands on its hind legs, humanoid, and basically a cat. It's very much like the Khajiit of Skyrim. Seems to have absolutely covered itself in every colour it could ever find. It's multicoloured. It's almost sickening to look at how bright and vibrant this cat is. It also has a lute and is just lazily just plucking away. It's not really making up a song. It's not really reciting a poem. It is just maybe doing a couple of scales, just kind of making chords and then making a chord and seeing if that chord fits with that chord. And okay, maybe that's a thing. Just kind of lazily playing about with it. Next to this big chunky warforged Iron Man and this tabaxi cat is a female human, and she is adorned with like what you could imagine is armor and kind of ceremonial kind of robes. She is, you could either imagine a cleric or a paladin. She seems to have been adorned with symbols of her faith and her religion. The kind of second group of people at a kind of another table, not right next to each other. They've kind of done the whole table, empty table, so they have a bit of privacy.
Class, yeah.
Yeah. There seems to be the completely bald man sits down. He sits down to a gnome, a little gnome guy. Seems to be quite older, bit of a beard and a bit of a big fluffy scraggly moustache, and seems to be wearing nothing but leaves. Seems to have made itself a kind of hula Hawaiian skirt of grass skirt. Next to this little gnome, just wearing leaves and grass, there seems to be a wizard, similar to Finn, elven features, quite a bit more distinctive, but his skin is almost like a charcoal grey and his hair is pure white. The completely bald guy sits down next to this wizard, this dark elf, this drow as it were, and kind of looks at the wizard drow. The wizard drow looks back at this completely bald man, and you can kind of hear him murmur, "Look, I said it 1,000 times. I'm sorry. I just tried to spell. It didn't work, and I'm sure it's going to grow back." Kind of thing. And the completely bald guy just kind of rolls his eyes and just sips his drink.
Well, let's take a seat.
With the bald guy. He's the one that called us in.
Yeah, maybe we should go over and ask him who he is, what he's all about.
Yeah, I think we
All
have
right.
to.
I'd like to, if possible, I'd like to just sort of perhaps use a bit of my perception, sort of get a feel for the room, see if we feel sort of welcome here, whether we're standing out or whether we're just sort of nothing out of the ordinary.
That's a brilliant idea. Yeah, roll a perception for me.
So 15 plus 5, 20.
Oh, unnatural 20. Excellent. You immediately get the impression that you are the new people in the bar. However, it's not like, this isn't a rough bar with like a gang in it and they've all got like the matching jackets and you're not welcome here. It is just you are the new people in the bar. They've just kind of looked at you and was like, oh, okay, some new people, and they're just doing their own thing. However, with that very high roll, yeah, with that very high roll, you do see in the far like back corner, up against the wall where the hearth and the fire is, there is a pile of like bows and arrows, swords, daggers, big chunky like maces and axes, a couple of suits of armor. They're all dented and they're all a little bit bloodstained. and they're just all kind of haphazardly just thrown in the pile, like just chucked in the corner because there's nowhere else to put them, kind of thing.
So I wonder if this village is so empty because all the people who had these weapons have, for whatever reason, disappeared. I think we should be careful, guys, but let's just take a seat and maybe we can casually ask the bald guy what this is all about.
See if we can endear ourselves to them a little bit. Obviously, our bald friend is our way in, and he clearly seemed cautious of the goblins and hobgoblins outside, so maybe we'll use that as common ground. So shall we approach him and make some conversation first? So let's walk over to their table. We're not necessarily going to sit down and join them unless we're invited. Maybe we'll sit at that. Maybe we can put our jackets or the equivalent of our wallets just on the empty table that's
Scarves,
in the middle
perhaps?
there. Yeah, put your scarf down.
No.
This scarf is bloody gold dust.
While you guys do that, I want to go over and talk to the cat because I like the idea of the loot. I want to find out if she's within the Bard Guild.
Nice.
Right.
So,
And I think I'm gonna sit down. I think we should sit. I don't think we should stand and wait to be invited. I'm gonna sit down at the table.
I'm just going to go and thank this guy. Maybe I'll just give him a quick nod and a thank you for ushering us in. So I give the guy a little nod and say, "Oh, thanks for the invite in there. What's with those bunch of fuckboys outside?"
This completely bald guy looks up at you and goes, "Don't worry about it. I mean, you're new here, right?"
Of course, yes. Well, thank you again. We'll just be over there. Perhaps catch you at the bar in a little while. And I will come and sit down with Oren.
Sure. I mean, we're not going anywhere.
Oh yeah, I've sat down at the bald guy's table. I'm not sitting down at
you
our own
sat
table.
down.
Oh, right. You sat at the middle table. No, okay.
Yeah.
You grab a chair. You just slide it over.
It's like the hair all over again.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cut these guys up though.
Yeah. All three of them, the wizard, the drow wizard, the gnome in the grass skirt, and the bald guy just kind of give you a nod of like, "Hi, how you doing?" kind of thing. But the human, the fighter guy, the completely bald one, he'll turn to you, Oran, and is like, "Yeah, so welcome to Rustleton, I guess."
Yeah, we're new in town, and you were the first guy that we saw. We were going to check out the message board outside, but then you called us in, so...
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
What's going on?
Well, I mean, let me guess, you're here because you thought this was a great place to get some jobs, earn some gold?
We were expecting a busy town. There's nobody here. It's quiet.
He kind of leans back in his chair, has another swig of his ale, goes, "Yep, us too. Been here about a week now, and it's been like this since we got here."
And you've just been spending that week in here?
Well, look, it's a bit of a weird one. I mean, we only know this because we've been here for a week, and all we've been doing is chatting to the couple of the residents and the guy running this place, but some those goblin fucks got a bit too big for their britches and just taken over the place. I mean, they did stuff. They're not doing stuff at the moment, but every time the courier comes in with new jobs, things that we could be hired to do, potential gold, they just take it.
Well, the way I see it, we've got the three of us at the table. How many's at the table? Sorry.
With you four, and then there's three at one table, and there's three at the other table.
The way I see it, everybody in this bar right now outnumbers those guys outside. What's the situation with Iron Man over there? Are you guys pals or?
No, they've only been here a couple of days, but I mean they're alright. I can't remember that weird cat one's name, but they're fine. But I mean, you not think we thought of that before, all teaming up and taking them on? I mean, if you want to take them on, be my guest. And he points over to the pile of bloody armour and swords in the corner. They came in, they muscled their way through, they kidnapped a bunch of the residents, they killed a guy right in the middle of the town square to prove they mean business. And ever since then, every time someone needs a job or local towns are sending help wanted and it goes to the notice board, they just snatch it up. They go and do the jobs, they get all the gold. I mean, we came here to earn some coin and get a reputation, but at the moment we're all just in the fields helping out for coppers until we got enough to move on to the next town.
Okay, when's the courier coming back?
Actually, you'll be here tomorrow morning.
Well. Gentlemen, you know goblins and hobgoblins. To the best of your knowledge, do you know if they bleed at all?
I'm pretty sure they do.
In that case, and my friends here will tell us that we have history of this, things that we discover as point A can bleed, we have a history of being able to kill. But I understand that we are going to need to be smart about this. I have a little bit of a plan, but we may need everyone that we have here. So if you guys are interested in principle, I'm not asking you to agree to anything until you've heard our plan. But if you're willing to listen, perhaps we should talk to the people on the other table and see if there's something that we can do different to what the previous owners of those weapons have done. That may mean that tomorrow when the courier comes, there's someone else to get those jobs. Maybe some hobgoblins will have to die. It's not for me to judge.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't know your name.
Oh, my name is Scamos Nowhere, at your service.
Okay, well,
And these are my friends. I gesture to you to introduce yourselves.
Oran.
Finn.
I'm off talking to Cat Lady.
Chiropractic is technically at the other table. You guys gesture to him, but he's already in the middle of conversation. So the bald guy points to himself. It's like, well, I'm John. And he points to the gnome. It's like, this is Brock. And he points to the wizard. And that is Malquis. He's the reason I'm bald. But we won't get into that. And look, you've got some stones on you, Scamos, was it? You've got some stones on you, but maybe wait and see what happens tomorrow. Even look at them today. I mean, we still got a couple of hours before the sun goes down. Actually, midday-ish. God, sit around all day. I don't even know what time it is. Fucking hell. Look, you don't think we've tried all these things? We tried teaming up all together. They absolutely slaughtered us. It's not just those 4 out there or 5 out there. They've got a system. Every like couple of hours or so, they switch up and new goblins come and then they all sneak off somewhere. Tried following them, trying to find out where they're hiding. They're too bloody nimble. You think we tried to get the courier on the trade road before he even comes into town? They've got scouts looking up and down the whole mile-long strip. As soon as that courier comes into sight, they've got eyes on him. I tried to get to that courier before they did, to get them to give me some documentations to see if they had any help wanted or any jobs available. And I nearly got ambushed. They're all in the weeds waiting for us, all in the bushes. Look, if you want to be big, brave, and ballsy and try and take them all out, be my guest. As soon as you start fighting those ones that are looking after that notice board, one of them will skipper away, get reinforcements, and then you'll have a bloodbath in the middle of the town on your hands.
And the alternative, though, is that we stay here for... How long did you say you'd been here? You've lost track of the days already, as if you're stuck in some depressing quarantine type situation. How long have you been here already?
We're not bloody shackled up and bound here. A couple of guys and me and some of the guys on the other table, we're helping the local farmers in the field. I mean, they're being generous and giving us a couple of coppers here and there. As soon as we've got enough to get some more supplies and restock our backpacks and stuff, we're heading out and trying somewhere else.
And then what if there's another mean old hobgoblin in that town? What then? When are you going to stand up to the hobgoblin, metaphorically, that's holding you back, John?
Oh, but look. This is like, we came here because we're fresh-faced and young and we don't know what we're doing. We came here because we thought someone else would give us a hand. I mean, I don't know what you've been up to, but the most I've done is barter with some guy for a couple of horses and we rode along the tradeway. I haven't actually thrown down with anything yet.
Let me give you a quick, it's the medieval version of bullet. Let me give you a couple of crossbow bolt points about what our adventures have been in just our first couple of days of being together. Number one, I almost lost an arm to a warg, but I didn't. Then we met a beautiful dryad who was dying because horrible spiders were digging into her tree. Guess what? Killed them, became heroes of the forest before we got to our first adventuring town. Now, I'm not saying we're the greatest, but I am saying that fortune favours the bold, and it can favour you, John, if you work with us. I'm not saying we have to march straight out there willy-nilly and cause a bloodbath in the town. But we can be smart and we can work together, and giving up, if you're giving up, you may as well be dead, John. You may as well. When you left town to become an adventurer, did you tell the people that cheered you off on the day you left that, oh, I'm going off to get a few coppers from a farmer? I don't think you did. No need to answer. I mean, please do answer if that is what you did.
He just looks at you. You could imagine he'd be scowling if he had eyebrows, but he doesn't apparently have eyebrows. He just kind of looks at you and goes, no, I didn't set out on adventures and quest to work in the field. Look, you're not getting the whole story here. Like, when these hobgoblins and goblins first arrived, they kidnapped a bunch of the residents here. They slaughtered a guy right in the middle of the town square to prove a point. I mean, the reason we're working for coppers to try and get some pennies back in our pockets is because we all chipped in for the ransoms of the ones that they kidnapped. I don't want to start another fight in the middle of town. They play dirty. They'll start raiding people's houses. They'll start kidnapping people again. They'll start killing innocent people. Look, you make an excellent point. And if you start fighting and it looks like you've got the upper hand, I will definitely join in and help you guys. If they start playing dirty and start trying to kidnap people again and kidnap innocent residents of this town, then we got a problem. We didn't come here to be a burden.
I come back across from the cat and say, guys, I found out some news. This town's being held hostage by goblins. Also, this cat now knows hot cross buns on the ukulele.
You can't look over and this cat is like big grinning and it's like, what a penny do a penny hot cross buns? He seems to have sped it up and made it like in a minor key to make it a bit more gritty.
But they're this guy. Let's recruit the cat.
Yeah. So we know John's position. Does this stand with the rest of you? Brock, Malkos, is the same true of you, or do you feel any differently?
No, they I won't even let you roll for it because it was quite a good, inspiring speech. Yeah, they're with you. Like, again, we're with John. If it gets to the point where we've got the upper hand, we'll join in and help. But if there's a chance that it's just going to go south, they're going to slaughter you, you're going to add to that pile of broken armor and swords in the corner, and they start kidnapping residents again to prove their point, then we'd rather stay out of it.
Good to know your position, gentlemen. I can only respect that. You say that goblins and hobgoblins can fight dirty, and I understand this. You nor those goblins have ever met Scamos Nowhere. Now, I will leave you to pause and enjoy your drinks for a while. Gentlemen, shall we speak to our other table guests and see how they stand in this world? Unless, Oroprax, you already know.
Let's say while Scamos was doing that inspiring speech, let's hop over and see what Oroprax is doing at the other table.
Sweet. So,
Oroprax, you have got a Warforged, a kind of humanoid or a live sentient robot. You've got the Tabaxi, and you've got the female that seems to be adorned in her holy symbol.
Mm-hmm. So I wander across and I say, I notice that you've got a musical instrument. Might I inquire whether or not you are with a particular bard guild or whether you're just a freelance musician?
The cat looks up to you and goes, who are you?
I'm Europraxis Tempestus III. It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance.
It raises a paw and is like,
I bump it.
I am Chen. And it kind of goes to shake it and then it's like, oh, okay, we're bumping. Yep, that's cool, kind of thing.
Chen, I've not seen many of your kind around this side of the world.
Well, I am rare as I am impressive.
And beautiful, might I add. May I? I see you're fiddling with the strings on that ukulele. May I show you something? No, don't pass it to me. I can't hold it. I can't touch instruments.
It is not how you say this ukulele. It is a lute.
An instrument is an instrument is an instrument. Touch that one there, and play for me.
Okay. And you teach her how to play hot cross buns, just so all the continuity goes into a nice perfect circle.
Mm-hmm. And there you are. Now that we have that established, might I inquire as to who your friends are?
She kind of gestures over to the Warforged. It's like, this is Amit. And it just kind of raises a hand, just straight right angle. There's like a little beep, boop, beep, like zit, 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 left, right wave, puts it back down. And then she gestures over to the female cleric. And this is Kenocha.
Kenocha. And what brings you to this side of town?
Well, we came for glory and riches, but as you friends over there have probably heard from Malachus and Brock and John, we are going to have to move on to the next town.
What's the problem? Apart from, I'm assuming this is something to do with the goblins outside.
She nods, and she, like herself, is very kind of knowledgeable about the current situation in Rustleton, and she will also relay the information that she relayed to Scamos and the other guys. These hobgoblins, came into town, started kind of throwing their weight around, and now no one can get any work, no one can get any jobs. Much like the other guys heard, they have a system where they're always on guard, keeping an eye on that notice board, even though it is absolutely empty. There's no actual jobs on there, because every time someone goes up to it, or every time someone tries to use it, the goblins immediately take the help wanted, job wanted, please help me with this, and just scutter it off somewhere.
Who is the longest living resident still available in this town? Because somebody must have information on something that could be useful to take down these goblins.
She doesn't know. So I don't know.
Come on, the beautiful kitty like you must know something.
She slightly purrs. As I say, my friend, as she kind of purrs as you're flirting with her, we've only been here a couple of days. You may be more inclined to ask the owner of this establishment.
Good to know. I run over excitedly to the others.
And tell them that you two talk hot cross buns, yeah. All right.
So it seems the next person we need to speak to is our friendly barkeep, right? Whose business is no doubt suffering greatly. Actually, no, maybe it's doing well. He has people stuck in the pub forever. But let's find out.
All right. You go over to the barman. He seems to be human in nature. Probably pushing maybe 50, 60. He's got like a tuft of hair at the front, but he seems to be residing quite a lot at like these sides. It's starting to recede quite strongly at the sides, but he's still got some nice chunky sideburns to him. Looks like he's got a slightly broken nose. Maybe he's seen a couple of bar fights in his time, and he's just minding his own business, but tending to the bar.
Finn, you're a barman by trade, I seem to recall. Why don't you speak barkeep to barkeep?
I don't like to speak about it. I don't like to speak about those days. Horrible, horrible times. But I'll do my best.
You know a barman struggles. You know how he feels. You can empathise with him.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so yeah, I'll go over and hi, I'm Finn. How's it going?
He kind of nods. He goes, Hendrik, nice to meet you.
Hendrik. So, we've heard the story from some of your patrons sat down over there, but is it all true? Is what they're saying correct?
About the goblins.
Yeah.
He seems a bit solemn about the whole thing. So yeah, they ain't leaving anytime soon. I mean, a lot of the residents don't want to leave their houses at the moment. They're all just sitting around waiting for someone or something to sort them out. I mean, we've sent word to neighbouring towns, but no one seems interested to come and help us. Maybe because they thought we should sort it for ourselves. I don't know.
So what sort of help would be preferable to you? If in an ideal world, what would you want to happen?
Well, look, I don't want anybody to get hurt. And he kind of, as he says that, he looks over at the pile of used armour and swords that are still a little bit bloodstained. It's like, I don't want anybody to help out who can't do the job properly. I mean, we're still living, technically. I mean, we're not as busy as we usually are. No one really wants to go outside, so it's a bit of a bummer, but it's not like we're on the cusps of collapse and stuff. We're still a town. I mean, it's quiet at the moment, but, you know, I got a couple of regulars. We still got some shops that are still selling, but no one stays. No one really makes a home here anymore. It's just a bit dead. I mean, if you guys could sort it out, you guys can sort it out, but...
And what would you want us to do to sort it out?
Get rid of those fucking goblins. What do you think, man?
I'd like to ask why there is just a pile of armour covered in blood in the corner.
Those belonged to a couple of parties of people and groups of people who thought they could help out and take care of the goblins, and it didn't go well. I mean, if we were busy and if there wasn't a goblin problem, I would clean them up and sell them to the next adventurer who came across who was looking for some new armour. But I mean, no one wants it anymore because no one's doing anything at the moment.
Very, very interesting.
And you've seen these goblins. How many do you reckon there are? We've seen around
well,
4 or 5.
Not to be goblinist, but they all kind of look the same to me. I mean, you're more than welcome to stake out and watch, but they always seem to have 4 or 5 people stationed at that billboard. They seem to, for lack of a better word, change guard every couple of hours or so, round the clock.
So, Hendrik, you would probably say, I mean, I'm not asking you to get your hands dirty or risk your business or your life against these goblins and hobgoblins, but I'm right in saying that you might be inclined to help us if we were to have a plan to help with your hobgoblin problem. And I imagine no moral qualms if those hobgoblins were both less annoying and less alive than they are right now.
Well, yeah, look, I heard your very inspiring speech that you said to those guys over there at that table, and I'm kind of with them. I mean, you weren't here when it first happened. One of our residents who's been here the longest, a guy named... God, what was his name? Brenson. One of the oldest guys, a guy called Brenson. God.
Where does Brenson live?
Lived.
Oh, okay.
God, he was only... I don't think he even held a sword or a bow and arrow in his life. He just turned into the fields. He was about 80. He'd been here for as long as I can remember. Everyone loved him. He was like the granddad of everybody, and they just slaughtered him right in the middle of right in the middle of town.
Hendrix, if we can count on your help, then I can't promise you that we will emerge victorious, but I can tell you that if we're successful, as I slit that last hobgoblin's throat, I will whisper in his ear, "This is for Benson." And they're the last words he hears before I send him to hell.
Well, you didn't know him, so I appreciate that. I mean, that means a lot.
That's in his memory. I respect him having the courage to stand up.
Well, look, I mean, I'm a bit like Benson. I haven't really gone out and adventured, and I don't really know how to fight. I mean, there's a couple of scraps in here every now and again with the regulars, and I get a couple of black eyes, and that's about it. But I mean, from what I've heard from other people that have come in and the guys who used to own those swords and armors over there, I mean, there's goblins and hobgoblins guarding that billboard, but they're not running the show. Something else is going on here.
Should we stake out, guys?
I think we have we can maybe stake out and see what we can learn, and then I have a little bit of a plan forming, but some more information if we can find out what's going on with the party would be useful before we put it into effect. I'll share my plan with you when you're ready to hear it.
Before we leave the barman, can I just ask him if he can give us a rough direction of where we would find the Oaks knitwear store?
Kind of looks at you and goes, Oaks?
The plot thickens.
Who are the Oaks?
My
What?
God.
They made this wonderful scarf that my friend Oren is wearing.
Kind of looks at the scarf and goes, yeah, that looks fine. I mean, what are you talking about, Oaks?
Never mind. Thank you very much for your information.
Just put my hand on Oroprax's shoulder and whisper to him so as not to cause any alarm. Oroprax, if these fuckboys have killed the Oaks, I'm going to double kill them. I'm not standing for it.
All right.
We head outside.
Well, do we want to head outside, or do we want to sort of
Look through the window.
get
Who has
comfy
the
here?
best? Who has the best chance to try and get close and eavesdrop, or who has the, what do we want to strategize? What do we want to learn about them? I imagine see if we can let slip about what their plans are, what their rotations are, and where they are. Who's running the show?
Yeah, definitely. If we wait till night time, if anyone's got dark vision.
All but one.
How easy would it be for me? Because my unseen servant has a range of 60 feet. How easy would it be for me to have a little tour around town, keeping him ahead to warn me in case there's any trouble?
I like your way of thinking, but I believe the unseen servant is not like I don't think you can use it as a recon. It wouldn't be able to kind of come back and give you information. It is what it says on the tin. It's an unseen servant. It is a
minor tasks.
Yeah, a kind of ball of humanoid-like energy that is invisible and, like you said, folds clothes, picks stuff up, carries stuff.
The servant.
I don't think it actually has an intelligence and can. I don't think it can even speak.
Why don't we?
I mean, for example, if you were delving deep into a dungeon and there was like an ominous lever on the wall, which you think is pretty trapped, you could send your unseen servant to pull the lever to see what happens, and if it gets squished, then everyone's fine and no one got hurt. But in terms of using it recon-wise, that would probably be a no. However, you might, further on into the adventure, get the ability to find the spell Find Familiar, which would summon a animal companion, which you could then look through the eyes of, and that could be like a recon thing. Okay. So that's a potential to think of. I like your way of thinking, I like the idea, but in terms of Unseen Servant, I don't think it has that ability to do the stakeout for you, if that's what you're kind of planning.
Yeah.
I think we should order some drinks, because we've been in this bar and not ordered any drinks, and business is obviously...
We've got to support local business, you're right.
Exactly, yeah. And then find a table next to a window where we can get a clean view of the message board. And also we can spend a little bit of time just talking about potential plans and thoughts about what's the best way, because we'll be out of earshot of people.
Should we strategize together and see what we can float with the rest of the team, and maybe what thoughts you have? I'm happy to share my immediate plan for murder while we're sitting and having our first round, if you like.
So I want to see what happens when one of these messengers appears with this paper. I want to see how they react and what they do. That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, because I was thinking that maybe we could post our own job.
Yeah.
And get them away. Something like that. I'm not sure.
All right.
That sounds like a great plan. I might be able to help you with that. We haven't had cause for it just yet, but I have a disguise kit on me, and I have a disguise persona that I can undertake. So when the time calls for it, you can briefly say goodbye to Scamos Nowhere and meet unfortunate merchant, down on his luck, merchant Akthos Woe. And as Akthos Woe, I can go places where Scamos Nowhere cannot. My original thought as we came to this was perhaps, and maybe this can come into play later on, my original thought was ask our new friend Hendrix here if we can borrow maybe a couple of his old barrels from the cellar, and maybe something he uses to clean the pipes out. My original thought, before we knew there was extra hobgoblins, was to pretend I was a merchant with this barrel full of very potent ale that I definitely didn't want anyone to steal. When they steal it from me, they would drink it and die a horrible burning death. We could maybe slit the throats of anyone who didn't immediately die, but we can save that for later. I could go out there with a pretend job for them to snatch off me, and see what I can learn as a result of it.
Yeah, I think so.
Sounds good.
What? Anyone else have any other thoughts?
Yeah.
My only thinking was that because my unseen servant's doing nothing, whether or not he posts a job
invisibly.
Oh, but then you wouldn't really get the same effect as if Akthos Woe.
I think it has to look natural, doesn't it?
I think it has to be natural.
Yeah. Do it. Get your skimpy outfit on. Get out the back door.
Right.
But what's the job? What we're gonna entice these guys away with?
Well, they're not even going to read it, are they?
They're just going to deliver it to their master, I guess, or something.
Can it just say "fuck you"?
Just like your mum.
These goblins can't even read properly, so they're just going to deliver it to some upper management.
Yeah, I can imagine it. You write just like on a bit of paper, you put it up on the notice board, and then the next day, like, there's double the amount of goblins.
Maybe we can use this if we think that these minions are just going to pass on the message. Maybe we post the job that indicates a meeting in the first place and indicates that it's an irresistible job, a job so rich and sweet that the big boss will come out to meet the job poster at a place that we designate, and then we can, because much like the Romans in the fictional place of Earth that I've read about in my stories we'll set the battlefield, and then what we'll do is when we lure the leader to this place with promises of untold riches, we will poison and or murder him. Yes. Right, so gather round. Does anyone have pen and paper?
Always. I'm a bard.
Wonderful. So do you want to I imagine you also have the neatest handwriting as well.
Yeah.
So let's pen let's pen an excellent job. Okay, let's start with how much money it's going to be. What do we feel is a irresistible yet still not unbelievable amount of gold that's going to tempt a hobgoblin boss out of his lair?
Do we know the boss is a hobgoblin, or could these goblins be controlled by a different race or species, perhaps?
Maybe we'll, yeah.
What about 50 gold pieces? 100 gold pieces?
Oh no, much more than that.
Yeah,
1,000 gold pieces.
1 million.
10,000.
Oh, excuse me, Hendrix.
What is money?
How much would someone buy half a town for? No, okay, let's say the bar. How much would this bar, on a normal day of good trading, how much would you sell this for? I'm not buying it. I'm
asking for a friend.
Hypothetically.
Well, that depends. Are you guys going to buy anything, or are you just going to sit in the corner?
Oh no, we've got a round of drinks, haven't we? Didn't someone go to the bar already? Honestly.
Oh shit, we forgot.
You guys just went into the corner and started chatting.
Sorry.
One of your finest waters.
A round of drinks, which I am willing to pay for, Oh, geez, this is a lovely bar. And in a let's say a fairly buoyant property market, how much would you sell it for? Not that I'm in a position to buy today.
Okay. He gets you a round of drinks, which will be 16 copper pieces.
Okay. How much money do I have? Yeah, I'm fine. I can get this, I imagine. I've got some money.
How many copper to silver, silver to gold?
Okay, so you guys probably start off with 10 to 15 gold, roughly.
Mm-hmm.
If you imagine gold pieces are like pound coins, copper pieces are pennies, so it's 100 to 1. There is also silver pieces in Dungeons and Dragons, which are like 10p's, so like 10 to 1. There are also electrum pieces, which are like 50p's, like a 2 to 1. And there are also platinum pieces, which are like 10 gold, like £10 notes.
Okay.
However, in terms of like exchange rate, because obviously the drink is like a mug of ale is only 4 copper pieces, so it's not like 4p for a drink, because like stuff like a dagger is worth 1 gold kind of thing. So it's not exactly a gold piece is a pound coin, but in terms of how they interact.
I reckon 500 gold on the note.
Mm.
What do you reckon?
Hendrik kind of nods and goes like, yeah, I'd grab a sword and shield for 500 gold.
500 gold it is then. So we'll take our drinks back to the table. Get these lovely foamy mugs down, you guys.
I tip my drink to the cat.
To Chen.
Mm-hmm. To Chen.
Yeah. She responds in kind. Little wink. She pulls one of the random, like, she's got multicolored like feathers and trinkets and stuff all over her outfit. She kind of pulls one of the kind of bright red feathers and just kind of tucks it behind one of her ears to try and like just make herself look a bit prettier.
I'm so in.
So,
I for a moment sit silently and wonder if a dragonborn, who is, I guess, technically a scaly, can be a furry, if that counts. So the others just see a puzzled look pass across my face.
Yeah. But this is a proper Romeo and Juliet moment. Like, it's like
I would also like to find out more about this Warforge. Sounds like it should be useful. But I'll wait until we pen this letter.
Yeah, let's get our plan ready, and then we'll find out how they can each play a role in this. So 500 gold reward,
and the hand of the princess.
whoa.
And the severed hand of the Goblin King.
Yeah, just throwing it out there.
Scamos, do you have a princess disguise in your kit?
I don't have a princess disguise. I guess how common are princesses in these things? Is there just one that we definitely have heard?
Just any old princess will do. Just make one up. That's fine.
Maybe let's say everything that can be brought back to us. Maybe we'll say and 10 virgin brides in brackets gender of your choice.
Yeah, definitely.
We're not discriminatory here. So basically, whatever. Hang on. We've covered money. We've covered mates. Let's put plus slap up dinner.
Yeah.
As part of the rewards. For work for brave, bold, ruthless adventurer. Because of course we're gonna attract him out, and we want to make sure it's his skill set. If he thinks it's about maths, not discriminating against hobgoblins, maybe that would in fact be his greatest fear. Maybe public speaking would really worry him. So we want to make sure this is going to play into a brute strength to get him out there, and then we're going to say, for more information, meet. We'll come up with a contact's name. Is it meet at Uraprax? You knew this area quite well. What is a nice secluded area where we might have a good opportunity to ambush someone?
The Appleby Gardens just off of 6th is nice. Was nice.
Uraprax, you think that Appleby Gardens just off of 6th is a residential area, and that would probably be a bit dangerous. You could maybe stage an attack on the outskirts of the tradeway as you guys walked in, If not, this is technically a seaside town. You could get them to meet you at the beach, which is...
Is there a cliff overlooking a beach?
No, you guys are currently on the water level.
Water level.
Yeah, you guys are currently water level.
Just when you're thinking there may be gravity to do my murdering for me. Never mind, I suppose. So maybe just an area away from people. We don't want any civilians caught in this crossfire. And also away from the beaten path a little bit. So, is there an area that we can just mention to them that we can have a good overlook, that we can write in there? Not Appleby Gardens.
Well, if we go to the tradeway, we can potentially hide in the foliage.
Hide in the bushes. I like it.
Okay, so we'll write down that we'll put a particular area just outside the tradeway.
But remember, we have to make sure that the people in the bar can see this, because they're not going to join us until they see that we're winning.
We'll let them know the plan before we execute. And then, how do goblins and hobgoblins fare between daytime and nighttime? Do they have a preference?
Roll an intelligence for me. I'd let you take nature if you're proficient in nature.
I don't believe I am. Let me take a look. I've got investigation, but nothing else that's really...
just a straight up intelligence then for me.
I rolled an 11.
An 11.
And intelligence, I have +3. 14,
yeah. You're pretty sure goblins have dark vision. So in what you've gathered, they are working shifts. So it would never be a case of potentially doing it at night time and catching them off guard. It seems like whoever's in charge of these goblins has got them, some working days, some working nights. So they'd always be refreshed and ready for battle.
Okay. Well, in that case, guys, if there's not going to be a benefit day or night, I think clandestine meetings and potential murders, tonally, night feels better.
Dusk, it has to be dusk.
Dusk or mid... Yeah, should we say dusk? What do you reckon? Dusk or midnight?
Yeah.
Show of hands?
Yeah.
Dusk.
Dusk.
Meet at dusk at the location we've specified. And then let's put a little addendum here. We will... payment is only available to the leader of any band. No, employer will not speak to mere minions. Employer will not speak to mere minions. No money will be carried. No money will be carried at the meeting.
All right.
Okay.
All these rewards and more can be yours if you are bold enough. Underline bold.
I'm still at 500 gold pieces.
Can you do one of those fancy Bs like monks do at the very first letter of a book for the bold, if you please? Penmanship is going to be everything here, guys. We need to lure this hobgoblin leader out so we can kill him.
I've got you. I got an A star in penmanship at the academy.
Oh, chef kiss.
Nice.
All right. You guys are constructing a fake request help wanted for 500 gold outside of the tradeway. But are you specifying what the job is?
I'm going to say that it is the work for a bold and bloodthirsty adventurer.
Okay, so you're leaving it quite promiscuous and up for.
I think I want to play to the guy's strengths, but I can't give too much away. Maybe I'll put in brackets underwards, mild assassination job.
Mild assassination.
All right. So you've got You're seeking someone who could do some bloodthirsty assassinations outside on the tradeway for 500 gold and potentially princesses and other treasures.
10 virgin brides and a slap-up dinner.
10 virgin brides and slap-up dinner. However, for more info, they have to meet on the tradeway. No minions. It has to be the boss.
At
dusk.
Exactly. At dusk.
At dusk. Sorry, that is very important. Dusk.
Dash, do not be late or early. Respectfully within the right time
frame. Don't be prompt.
Don't be too prompt.
Yeah, we're setting up a trap. Don't be prompt.
Oh, we'll be ready. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Okay. Time to deliver the note, is it?
Well, it's up to you guys.
I think so.
Who's delivering the note? You are, Akthos.
I will do it as Akthos Woe, I believe. There's a back door that Hendrix will let us out, I trust?
Yeah, there is a back door to the place.
Can I climb onto the roof to watch this exchange?
Yeah, you could absolutely climb onto the roof if you wanted to. Before we do that, Uraprax, you're writing this letter, right?
I have written it.
Why don't you roll me a deception roll for me? You know, I'm going to let you have advantage on that because, like, all four of you are collaborating and writing this together.
First one came out as 22.
That's pretty good.
Second came out as 17.
Right, 22 on this set. This looks very genuine with that high deception roll. All right. And then, Scamos, you are donning your disguise when you do the dodgy dealing.
Please, I am method. Refer to me as Akthos Woe. And try to have a little less respect for me, but I am a hapless merchant, always down on his luck. To go to the fictional universe of Earth, think of me as Old Gil from the stories of the Simpsons family.
Old Gil. Oh, come on, you're messing it up, Gil. You gotta get it.
Exactly.
All right.
Right, so I will...
almost comedically, like the old kind of brilliant, like Austin Powersy films and stuff like that. Scamos goes to the bathroom, shuts the door, and immediately as he opens it, it's almost like a supercut kind of thing. Shuts the door, immediately opens it, and he's got like a different outfit on. What does Akthos Woe look like?
Akthos Woe, as I say, a hapless merchant. Think very much in the way that no one would recognise Clark Kent versus Superman. So the hair is parted in the other direction. Yeah. Perhaps some glasses, a more of a clumsy demeanour, very unsure of himself. Looking around.
You are a tiefling with horns and a tail, so it's very
a very shabby, like meek looking one, sort of a hunched, almost skittish like look, very nervous, always like fumbling with something, like looking at the floor, looking down as he trundles along, maybe muttering to himself about how he always gets the worst luck.
All right. Excellent. The Akthos we currently have Akthos Woe. I can imagine that the Warforged, the Iron Man in the corner, kind of turns to one of the members of his party, turns to Chen, the Tabaxi, and is like, "Where did the other guy go?" It's like, "Oh, there's 5 of them. Where's the other one?"
Right. So, do I have the letter? Does this have your seal of approval, Uraprax? You happy with this work?
It is my best hand. I don't know why it's slightly Spanish then. It is my best hand. Please take it. I will climb to the roof.
Righty. Okay, so we've got Akthos is going to deliver this help wanted sign. We've got Uraprax climbing onto the roof to get a bit of view. Oran, what are you up to?
Well, I don't understand why Uraprax is climbing onto the roof because we just got a table right next to the window. Yeah. I can see the whole thing, so I'm going to stay here.
Mate? I don't know either, but he wants to do it, so he's going to do it.
I'm staying here. I'm ordering another drink because I've finished my drink.
Excellent.
I'm going to watch it. I just want to see. I want to see old Gil going out.
And can Hendrix let us out of a back door? So I'm seen to be coming from somewhere else than from out the bar.
Yeah, he goes, yeah, I mean, are you going to deliver it now?
Yeah. Unless anyone else has anything else they want us to do before we deliver it, I think we kick this off.
Well, I will just say that, although I've just ordered a drink, I will keep my Warhammer handy just in case things go south for my friends.
Oh, yeah, it's leaning against the table, yeah.
Yeah, okay,
absolutely.
right.
All right.
Go ahead.
So, Hendrik lets you, behind the kind of L-shaped bar, there's 2 doors. Hendrik opens one of them for you, which takes you through to kind of like a cooking area. It's kind of just a very rudimentary, like a nice, big, chunky kind of cast iron kind of stove. Couple of random cupboards with mix mash of pots and pans. Through that is like another door, which is like the storagey area with all like the big kegs of ale. And then he lets you out through the back way.
Wonderful.
Let's have Uruprax climb onto the roof. Okay, I'm going to have you roll either athletics or acrobatics if you want to showboat it a little.
17,
yeah. A little bit tricky as you kind of grab hold of some of like the support beams and a bit of the drainage system. It does creak a little bit, but you just kind of skimper up the side and you are currently on the top of the roof. Okay, Finn, what are you up to? Are you just sitting at the table with Oran?
Yeah, I'm next to Oran. I'm going to order another drink, same as Oran. I'm also going to order a chicken and some peanuts.
All right. So for each of you guys, if you're getting another drink, that's 4 copper pieces for the drink. And an additional 2 copper pieces for some food and snacks if you're really up for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to get jealous of that chicken and nuts, so I'll order some of that.
All right, and then 6 copper pieces each.
This is important.
6 gold pieces?
Oh no, sorry, copper pieces.
Whoa, that was expensive.
Yeah.
supply and demand.
It's damn good chicken. Okay.
I'm ready for the action. Go.
Axel, what are you doing?
So I've come out of the back door, so I'm going to go method before I even go out, because I don't want to just wait to start performing when they see me. So as I prepare to walk out of the alleyway and into the square where I'm going to make for the notice board, I'm already going to be chuntering along to myself about how I'm running late and I was meant to be delivering this morning. So, oh, you've messed it up again. You were meant to get here this morning. Now there's hardly any time for anyone to pick up this job. I'm going to be in so much trouble. So I'm muttering this as I walk towards. I almost don't register the people that the hobgoblins are there. I know they're there. But I'm walking over there as if I'm so focused on just getting this notice that I have grasped in my little scaly hands off and putting it onto the notice board, and I'm going to wait for them to accost me.
All right. So before you do that, let's roll a deception for me.
Sure.
Or a performance if you're kind of putting on a show, whatever you prefer.
I've pulled 17 from my roll, and I get. You say I get +4 for deception. So should we have that? Yeah,
21. Excellent. So you're doing your thing. Oh boy. Oh jeez. Kind of thing. You get just beyond where you originally guys were, next to the well. You get about 5-10 foot further than you currently did when you went to the well last time. And immediately, the 2 bigger ones, the hobgoblins, both raise their hand and are like, "Stop!" kind of thing. Really gruff growl. They kind of got weapons drawn at you. I
look up, suddenly noticing them for the first time, idiots. And I'm startled, like, I'm sorry, I didn't see you gentlemen there. I have to get this posted to the board. I should have been here this morning. I'm incredibly late. She's out on the road. It's a real mess. There are wargs out there. I'm not sure if you've seen them on the road, but it's enough. I've got to get this job posted though. Like, can you excuse me? I need to put this on the board if you don't mind at all,
One
sirs.
of the hobgoblins lets loose an arrow just between your feet. It just kind of smacks into the ground, just kicks up a bit of grit and sand.
Jeez.
Just gritted teeth. Just shut up. Oh jeez! Oh, I shouldn't.
Whilst this is happening, I take another bite of my chicken.
Yeah, it's a
Whilst looking out the window.
chunky rip in the air.
Roll for acrobatics.
Yeah. One of the bigger ones, the hobgoblins, kind of whacks the smaller goblin like on the back of his upper back, just kind of whacks him forward, and this little kind of goblin skitters forward and like kind of thing, skitters forward, still like with his daggers pointing at you, skitters forward and snatches this help wanted notice that you've writ up. It snatches it off of you. Not turning his back to you, starts walking backwards, still with his weapons drawn, kind of steps back a couple of times, like lunges forward and takes a couple of swigs, like kind of thing, to try and scare you and make you kind of flinch.
Also, I do flinch back a little bit. Go, whoa! Like, don't shoot the literal messenger, guys. Come on, like, I'm here to deliver a message. Like, you guys are standing by a notice board. Are you adventurers? Are you from some type of firm? Because there's a big job here, and I've been told I got to deliver it. So, like,
second arrow shoots in between, almost splitting the first one in twain. These hobgoblins are very good at archery, and they just hit you even closer to your foot than the other one was. The goblin that took the note from you skitters back, raises it, because he's got a good couple of feet on him, raises it up and passes it to one of the bigger ones, who kind of takes it, looks at it, nods, kind of folds it and gives it back to one of the goblins, who kind of pockets it just in like one of their little shabby coats, just in their inner pocket. One of the big hobgoblins kind of like bats his hand at you to kind of fuck off, kind of thing, like you're done here, kind of thing.
Okay, thank you very much, guys. I will leave this in your care. Good luck with the job.
He pulls
and then I'm bolting right around the corner. Maybe I do a little comedic trip, like on a stage trip, like, oh, I've tripped out. I haven't really. I'm fine. I'm dexterous as fuck, but like I'm fine. In this disguise, I'm clumsy, I'm falling over, and I scamper back round the corner, and then as soon as I'm gone, I Kaiser McSoze it, and I'm walking back round as I go into the pub. after I'm sure I'm out of sight, of course.
Just as you get back to the well and you do your comedic kind of stumble to kind of really lay it on thick and really play the part, Uraprax, can you roll a stealth for me while you're on top of the roof?
Nat 20 plus 3.
Natural 20, excellent. You're kind of just there, you're kind of looking, you kind of shift a little bit, but as you shift, you just feel it just ever so slightly in one of your knees as you're kind of crouching down. You feel like one of the tiles is quite loose, and you immediately kind of lift your weight off of it and just put it back where it was.
Okay.
All right. Excellent. With that, you guys successfully give a fake help wanted sign to the goblins at the notice board. Finn and Uraprax trying very hard not to kind of snicker at your comedic stumbling over Charlie Chaplin style kind of thing. Turkey grease dripping down their beards kind of thing. Just enjoying this moment. Alrighty. And then almost like flipping a switch, this bumbling, sorry for himself tiefling becomes the suave and sophisticated Scamus you know and love just as he bouts around the corner.
And then I can quickly just nip back in through the, I imagine, saloon doors to the bathroom to quickly just change back into my regular attire.
Excellent. All right.
So, is Uraprax still on the roof? Can you guys see? Have they taken it anywhere, or are they still standing there from out the window? What's going on?
I'd like to hang on the roof and just watch a little what they do.
Yeah, excellent. Okay, with your natural 20, yeah, you're still up there, and they're none the wiser. Scamos, Finn, and Uran are now inside the bar looking through the window. And it looks like they're not doing anything yet. Looks like whatever they're doing, they're going to wait for their royal changing of the guard for that piece of information to get into the right hands. Doesn't seem like they're going to be immediately taking it to base. Seems like they're going to keep hold of it, and then it will be when they get changed and when the new goblins come, that goblin who now has the information will then start to make its way through to what you imagine is the big boss who will read it.
Wonderful. So now, from their perspective, I imagine the most important thing we have to do is wait, because these guys are small fry. What we need to do now is get everything else in order, so we're ready for when dusk comes, and hopefully we have the advantage. Now, there's a couple of things that I think we have that play to our hands here. I want us to try and again, guys, don't let me steamroll you into this. We have a habit of accidentally dragging us on adventures when when women fall out of trees in the forest, but bear with me on this one. What I propose we do now, and that looks like good chicken, by the way. Can I get one of those?
Absolutely not.
I'm talking to Hector. Sorry.
If there's a hearth in the room, there must be a chimney. Can I jump down the chimney and rejoin?
There is currently a fire. Smoke.
I'm dragonborn.
But you're dragonborn.
Should be alright.
Yes.
A bit of fire.
I believe you are more resistant to acid as your thing, but if you want to climb down the chimney, you can climb down the chimney, mate.
I want to jump down the chimney.
Okay.
I'm just imagining the other three of us just sitting trying to have a drink and discussing a plan, and you're climbing on roofs, jumping down chimneys.
Roll,
It's a free runner.
Okay, I'm going to say because you're natural 20 on your previous stealth roll, you stealthily, without drawing any attention to yourself, managed to get across the roof and up and into the chimney. Roll a acrobatics, I guess, to see if you can get down this chimney with disadvantage because it is hot and there is soot everywhere and thick smoke.
So I got a 5.
5? Excellent. So, Scamos.
It's disadvantage as well, isn't it?
Was that not the disadvantage? The 5?
That was, that's the lowest. The other one was 11.
Oh, blimey. Okay. So Scamos sits down, kind of leans back on his chair, maybe puts his feet up on the table, and is like, mission accomplished. And there's just a crash as Urabrax stumbles out of the fireplace. Logs and embers going absolutely fucking everywhere. And you know what? I'm gonna roll a d10 because I feel like fuck it. 9 points of damage.
Wait, if we're gonna do this, can I use my feather fall?
Oh, you're gonna? Oh yeah, absolutely. Yes. You start to slip and kind of jolt a little bit. And as you start to, immediately you just feel that slightly weightlessness as your stomach starts to lurch. You know you've lost your grip, and you cast Featherfall. Is there any magical phrases or sayings that you say when you cast Featherfall?
This not the task.
All right. You kind of utter those words as you just start to fall, and then almost Mary Poppins style. So to retcon.
Just super soft landing, and then
Scamos sits down at the bar at the table next to you guys, like mission accomplished, and then like James Bond's secret elevator, Urabrax just comes down into the chimney, like slowly feather falling, just like gliding down like an invisible elevator. And steps out of the fireplace like it was a hidden door or something.
They're still out there, guys. Doesn't look like they're going to be doing anything for a while.
Yeah, we can see from the window, so yeah, we'll do that. Thanks.
Well, my hope was that if they disappeared, I'd have some vantage over being able to see them walk down the street.
All right. And with that, and your fake help wanted sign, and your potential trap laid to capture these goblins and put an end to this weird kind of reign they have over the town, we'll leave it there. Thanks for listening to this week's episode of Monsters and Madness. If you'd like to find out more about myself, you can find me on Instagram at Louis Hay, where I post a bunch of different silly sketches and doodles. If you'd like to find out more about John, you can find him on his Twitter at John Crinnan, or his website johncrinnan.com, where you'll find all the links to his stories and his other podcasts. You can find Carl on his Twitter at Carl Hughes, or you can visit hawkandcleaver.com to learn more about how they help fresh and upcoming podcasters. To find Daniel, you can find him on his Twitter at WilcoxAuthor, or visit danielwilcox.com to learn more about his books and his special bootcamp to help new authors. You can find Andy CT on his Twitter at AndyCTWrites, or visit theotherstories.net to hear some of his horrifically twisted creations. The Monsters and Madness theme tune was created by Timo Henderson. You can check out his website, timohenderson.com, to see what kind of awesome music he can create, especially for you and your next project. And lastly, our background music was produced by Daniel Birch and downloaded from freemusicarchive.org. Visit his website, danielbirchmusic.com, to see what other music he has available. Thank you so much for listening, guys. We really hope you enjoyed the podcast, and we'll see you soon.